I made in my mind as a young guy, I wanted to become world class at something. I just had to find out what the something was going to be. And the very first time that I walked into a Wall Street trading room, I knew this is it. The ticker tape is rolling, the phones are ringing off the hook, people are screaming and shouting out orders, bodies are flying all over the place, and what looked like chaos to anybody else, I could see the natural rhythm in it. It was like I was reading a sheet of music, and I knew this is where I'm supposed to be. I kept coming back. I wore one branch manager down to the point that he says to me, Gardner, based on persistence alone, we're going to give you a shot. Man, I quit my job. That was all I wanted. I went home and I told my ex, you know what? You said I couldn't do it, but guess what? I start in 2 weeks. I was pretty pumped up. All the way up to the point. I show up on the appointed day and time, only to find out the gentleman who had made me the commitment had been fired the previous Friday. And nobody knew who I was, why I was there, and did not care. In California, when you quit your job, that means no unemployment insurance, no income, no benefits, and worse than that, the worst thing is now I gotta go home and tell this woman I don't have a job. If you don't remember anything else I say here today, remember this. Unemployment will not help your relationship. Somebody know what I'm talking about. I know you do. Think about it. We're a young family. We got a baby. She's a doctor who can't practice. I'm the breadwinner, and I quit my job thinking I'm going to Wall Street. Things got tough at home. Things got tense. I still had one shot left at the street. But before I can play it all the way out, I still got to take care of my family, which meant I did everything legal that I could to take care of my family and still pursue my last shot at the street. I cut grass, hauled rubbish, cleaned basements, I learned roofing, I learned painting. I did everything that I could to take care of my folks and still pursue my last shot at the street. Had a situation at home, things were tense, had a problem, something happened, probably never happened to anybody in this room but me. I had one of those arguments with my ex that only ended because we both fell asleep. Now somebody know what I'm talking about. I know you do. We woke up in the morning, everybody's feet hit the floor, and guess what? We went at it again. The neighbors don't know what might happen, what could happen, what's going on. They call the police. The police come, they want to make sure everything is fine, take her over here, calm her down, talk to her, take me outside, calm me down, talk to me. And one of my friendly Berkeley police officers doing his job says, do you mind if I search your car? No, sir, go ahead, no problem. Searches the car, nothing. Then again, doing his job says, well, let me just run this license plate through a computer. That was it. With interest, I had $1,200 in unpaid parking tickets, all of which I had accumulated the previous year trying to interview in downtown San Francisco. Double parking, illegal parking, late to feed a meter. An honest question would be, you knew you had the tickets, why didn't you pay them? Well, you know what? The position I was now in, having to cut grass to put food on the table, every dollar that came in the door, I had to make a decision. I could pay the rent or I could pay the tickets. I did probably what every man in this room would have done. I paid the rent. I was taken to jail. First, last, only time in my life taken to jail for parking tickets. And to show you how a bad day can get worse, all of this happens on a Friday, which means no court until Monday, which also means we cannot hold you in this friendly little downtown Berkeley jail. We need this for our regular weekend customers. I was sent to a place called Santa Rita State Penitentiary, where the most notorious inmate had chopped 23 people to death with an axe. And I'm in here on parking tickets. 10 days. And I know somebody out there thinking about it. Let me tell you something. If y'all got some parking tickets, you need to get up and walk out of here right now. I know you're thinking about it. But for 10 days, All I could think about is, does my little boy know I didn't leave him like my father left me? Does my son know I can't be there because of the circumstances? What's my ex say when my little boy looks at her and says, "Where's Papa?" I was the first thing this boy saw when he came into the world. I was the first thing he saw every morning. I was the last thing he saw every night. And if you've never been forcefully separated from your child, that's an experience that I will pray you never have. Something more pressing was happening. My last shot at Wall Street, my last opportunity was set up the day before I'm to be released from prison. Something happened and nothing or anyone will ever convince me it was anything other than the hand of God. There was a telephone and there was a prison guard. And I said to this guard, I got this one opportunity to work at one of the finest firms on Wall Street. I've been pursuing this for 1 year. I've got to reschedule this one appointment. Will you please let me make this call? No hesitation, without thinking. The guy dials the number and hands me the handset and the cord behind the bars. And the conversation is brief and to the point. "Mr. Costello, hey, it's Chris Gardner. Something has come up. Can we reschedule? Blah, blah, blah. Set it up day after tomorrow. Beautiful." You ever know something in your gut? I'm released from prison. State of California satisfied. Something told me. You ever just not need somebody to tell you something, you just knew it? I went to the place we used to call home in Berkeley, California. And I looked through the window and I knew they were gone. This chick took everything but the dust. Most importantly, she had taken my little boy. But I still had to go on this job interview. In the film, you saw Will Smith show up wearing blue jeans with paint all over him. I wasn't just wearing blue jeans, I was wearing bell-bottom blue jeans. I show up at Mr. Costello's front door and he says exactly what I would have said to anyone who shows up at my front door 6:30 in the morning dressed like that. Delivery's in the rear. I would have said the same thing. But I come right back at him and I explain, "Mr. Costello, I'm Chris Gardner. Today is the biggest day of my business career. I must admit, I'm underdressed for the occasion." "Yeah, you got that right." What happened? I could not think of a lie bizarre enough. I told the truth. It was the best thing I could have done. Turns out, Mr. Costello had been married and divorced 3 times. He started telling me stories about his ex-wives. And that second one, man, I don't know why he ever got married again. He told me some stuff about her. And out of nowhere, he says, "You be here tomorrow morning, I will personally walk into the trading room." Beautiful, getting my shot, that's all I wanted. I'm hired, base salary, $1,000 a month gross. I move into a boarding house, Oakland, California, all I can afford, 3 meals a day and a room. My days as a trainee were the same as they were for every other trainee who's ever started at the bottom on Wall Street. You do the one thing the brokers do not want to do or feel is beneath them, which is cold call. Turned myself into a cold call machine 200 times a day. I don't know if you guys in the back can see this, but in the front, see how this one finger is cockeyed? That's my calling finger, 200 times a day. And at night, study, study, study. And at night, the pain. When will I see my son? How much longer will this go on? My ex and I, unfortunately, were in that space where sometimes the adults start acting like children. And one parent feels like if the only way I can hurt you is to hit you over the head with the baby, I'm going to do it. My ex also began a campaign of what I could only call emotional terrorism. Will call on the phone and let me hear my little boy scream and cry and hang up the phone. Now, this was before star 69 and caller ID. Somebody in here might agree with me. When it comes to your children, you got caller ID in your heart. There could be a room full of a dozen babies crying, and you know if that's your baby or not. put it out of my mind, study, 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 pass my exam, highest score in the class, big deal. My reward, I get to come back the next day and make another 200 phone calls. This goes on for months. And one night, 1 in the morning, there's a knock at the door. And you know who that is? It's my ex. And the conversation is brief and to the point. I can't do this anymore. Here, it's your turn. Just like that, that's how we became homeless.